Hi there, Nigel Saunders here of KW Bonsai. Today we're going to be working on two trees, my Aloe Vera Bonsai and my Pink Pixie Bougainvillea. I'm going to begin with the Aloe Vera Bonsai. It's getting a little too top heavy, so I want to remove some of these lower leaves to keep the growing tip a little lighter so the trunk doesn't flop over or anything like that. It's stable in the soil right now. There's lots of roots that have grown into the soil, so it's nice and stable in the pot, but I don't like it to get too top heavy. I like to keep the growing tip to a reasonable size. I'll just prune off some of the lower leaves fairly close to the trunk, just like that, and an older one back here, and one more back here. There we go. That takes a lot of weight out of the top of the tree, and you can see it's growing really vigorously. The new leaves are getting very large, nice and thick. Yeah, it's growing really well. My next operation on this tree is to remove all these bits of dead leaves that are hanging off the trunk here. So I'm just going to use the tweezers and pull them back to the trunk like that. The reason I'm going to remove these is they can hold moisture in around the trunk and you can get rotting. You can see how moist it is underneath these. So if you're misting your aloe vera, the moisture will hang around in these little pockets where the old leaves are, and it could cause rotting of the trunk. So I always remove them. The tip of the aloe vera will grow towards the light. So you can see if I rotate it to the side view, it's coming up and it's reaching towards the window. So I'm going to change the position of the tree around so the sun is shining in on this side, so it'll straighten out the curve. I have 3 branches down low on the trunk, and I'm going to leave those there for now. It'll help thicken up the trunk just a little bit, and I'll remove them later on. My goal for this tree is to grow it fairly tall. I can see this tree being probably 2 to 3 feet in height eventually, before I start the crown on top for the branching. That's all on the Aloe Vera Bonsai for today, so let's move on now to the Bougainvillea. Here's the Bougainvillea, and you can see that some of the shoots are getting really long. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 20 sets of leaves on them, on the new growth. But the new growth isn't even all around the tree. We've got one here, one up here, one off to the side here, and the rest of the growth is, weaker. What we want to do today is to balance the vigor on the tree. The Bougainvillea has no natural style of its own. It's a vine that grows up beside buildings and up trees and that. So it doesn't really have a natural tree form to it. So the form I'm trying to copy with this is a catalpa tree. It has a similar shaped leaf, and I'm trying to get that, classic deciduous tree structure to it. My Bougainvillea has always been grown using clip and grow techniques. It's never been wired or anything, so I'm going to continue in that style. I'm going to start by pruning this lower branch off close to the base of the new shoot. So let's find a good place. I'll start right here. Right there. I have some good downward facing leaves here. I'll remove this upper leaf here, just clean up the structure and get a bit of more light in down here. Off of this lower branch I also have another vertical shoot here that I'm going to prune off entirely. It's growing from the top of the branch, and I don't want that. Here's that branch growing straight up, so we're going to remove that entirely. There we go. After I've gone in and pruned off all these vigorous shoots, or pruned them back, we're going to have a look at the overall styling of the tree and make any corrections I can. So I'm going to prune this shoot back now. And again, I'm looking for outward facing leaves to prune to. Keep the design fanning out from the main center trunk. I'll do this one into here. And we're going to tackle the apex too, shorten that down. And again, picking outward facing leaves to prune back to. Actually, I'm going to go a little further there. Get rid of that one leaf. There. And we've got one here. Go back to here. And another shoot here. Like that. So here's what we're left with right now. And I can see a few problem areas with this tree. One, I've got a branch growing up here that's kind of cluttering the design. It's a vertical branch, and I think the whole thing needs to be removed. So I'm going to do that. Just like so. Any of these woody cuttings can be planted in soil, and they should grow roots, and you'll get another little tree out of it. If I rotate the tree around, I have a branch here that's going quite vertical, and I have another shoot lower down. So I think I'm going to prune that back even shorter to here. There we go. So I'm just looking at the tree now, taking a good look at it, seeing if I can correct anything. My goal is to get it to fill out into a nice rounded canopy eventually. I think there's a growing tip here that should be pruned back. It's growing straight up. There we go. The root that comes out towards the front here, all the roots flow nicely from the trunk into the soil. Except for that one. It kind of comes down and then turns 90 degrees and then into the soil. I'm wondering if I should do some root correction to that right now. Prune off some so it flows into the soil better, and then it'll heal over eventually. The longer I leave that, it might get harder to correct, or the root will just continue to get thicker, and it may look, continue to get worse looking. So I'm debating. You can see it from this view. Trunk comes down and then the root comes out 90 degrees. And this root is coming towards the front of the tree, which I also don't like. It's kind of coming straight towards you. I could rotate the tree so it's off to one side, but yeah, I'm just not happy with that one root. I've thought about getting a carving tool and carving it so it does come into the soil nicely. And the living root behind will heal over and create a better root base. So I think I'm going to have to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So here I go, carving the roots. It's going to leave quite a scar, but I think in the long term of the tree, it will make the tree look better. That root was just sticking out 90 degrees, and I'm just carving away the base of the root. There's lots of good roots underneath it that flow nicely into the soil, so it'll just be a matter of this scar kind of healing over, and all will be well with the tree. Just get out my root pruners here. There's some bits of root that were sticking down from that root. trim away. There, I think that looks better already. There's a shot of the root base now with that front root removed. And there's still lots of roots down at the bottom here that'll continue the flare of the trunk into the soil. There's an overall shot of the tree now. Yeah, so we're just going to continue growing out the canopy and the branch structure. I have no, size in mind for this tree. I just want to keep it in proportions, and as it grows bigger, that's fine with me. I'm not trying to keep this tree to a small size tree. That's all for today. Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Thanks for watching. And do something green today. Try and compost all your yard waste, your leaves, your sticks, everything. Put them in a compost pile and get some nice garden soil from them. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.